Really? What are they? Are they a group of thugs? Is this an Avengers remake? What do you call this movie? I don't know. It's just strictly called the damn Thunderbolts.
Yelena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
We can't stop him alone. No one can. But we can find a way. Together.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts.
Whoa, that trailer that you guys will see edited completely different by the time this thing goes up live, because we're getting all kind of copyright for that right there. So that will be fixed in the live copy. But we are here, we are live, and this is 2/3, 3/4, whatever you want to call it. But you know you're listening to.
Tonight's broadcast has been commandeered by the secret society No Ma'am, National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood.
And boy, oh boy, I am Mike Knox. Welcome, everybody. I am joined by Freckle Sensei. And join us again. I like this recurring thing here with the Next Doctor. Is the Next Doctor from Federation Tuesdays. And we are talking about the new movie, The Thunderbolts. Highly anticipated. Rotten Tomatoes, which, if those who like those kind of things, has now gone to an 88% rating. But opened up the weekend at a 92. IMDb has it a 7 out of 10, but they are telling you that it's as good as the Avengers. Basically, you saw the trailer. And it's a whole mess going on. This new team has to be put together. The Avengers are not coming back. And Yelena, oh, sweet Yelena, not Elena Gilbert, y'all, but Yelena, Black Widow's daughter, her sister herself, U.S. agent, Wyatt. I hate that guy. I can't stand U.S. agent in no movie until this one. I hated him. I loved him in this movie. This is just a really, really fun time of a movie. Let's talk about Thunderbolts. Welcome back, Next Doctor. Freckle Sensei. This villain I knew nothing about. I heard about him, but I knew nothing about him. I asked everybody the same question. Who's more over as far as kicking your ass? Him or Professor X's sister? I'm lost. These are two of the biggest villains I've ever seen in my life.
So Sentry is actually, I love what Marvel does when they introduce somebody that's like super powerful. They don't make him as strong as Thanos like out the gate anymore. Because one, Adam Warlock is way stronger. He gets way stronger than he is. One. The same thing that goes for Sentry. Like Sentry gets way stronger. Like
I don't think they needed to show his strength because how much ass whooping he was doing. And guys, this is a spoiler review.
He's like Superman. He's like Superman level strength. Like
I can see that, but you're saying if this ain't clearly, I knew that wasn't all. Clearly, he was having demons within himself to fight. And I apologize for saying the mission here, guys, in this movie you don't know is that she Valentina got some explaining to do to the U.S. government. All right, and she got and my man, I'm gonna call him Snaps or Pops, but when he is on Raising Kanan. All right, you want to call him not Bubs? You know him from The Wire. My man Wendell Pierce is out here, and he's like, "Hey, we got to bring her down." She's like, "Scrub it all. It all got to go. Everything I've done, they're gonna put me in jail. Get rid of everything."
Also, Jack Ryan.
Oh, Jack Ryan. And she sends everybody at each other to kill each other, to wipe each other out, and just completely eradicate all the bad that she has done. And that's this movie. Come to find out, we meet Bob. And who is Bob? Bob is the Century. And he just said, I haven't seen his powers because did you see the fight scene? They were, hey, people. I mean, what couldn't this man do?
Oh well, okay. So another spoiler alert, because I might as well talk about what I didn't like. Didn't like the fact that huge spoiler alert. Didn't like the fact that Taskmaster got within the 5 minutes of this movie. That was just disrespectful.
First of all, can I just say this to you with that spoiler alert? I was happy. You know why? Because that should have been Taskmaster in the first place. So that's the alternate universe's wrong Taskmaster is what I'm chalking it up to. They took her out in 5 minutes.
See, the thing is, I didn't see Black Widow, so I didn't really have any
I just
love for her. But
I didn't finish
it was jarring to have her taken out that quick. Because I was like, oh, okay. Like it set a tone, but that was the thing about this movie. The tone was a little kind of all over the place. They didn't really get their footing. You know, there was this kind of humor, and which was throwing me off at first, and kind of slight campiness, but then like this darkness thrown in, and it didn't really get its footing. I would say even throughout the whole movie. Now it still worked, the campiness of it, even though it was light campiness. I appreciated that because it did feel more comic booky. You know, everything is kind of going to this, you know, make it look real world, you know, kind of making it grounded. Yeah, I get that because you want to kind of relate to it a little bit, but you still want to know, okay, this is a comic book movie. You know, that was the great thing I loved about Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, it was a comic book movie. It was the comic book powers were at play there. And I think them doing that here, making it a little bit more goofy, I think it really worked as far as the movie should be. You know, I like that aspect of it, but kind of dipping back and forth between the dark and the humor, it didn't totally work for me as a whole.
Gotcha. I think that's fair. And until someone mentioned that, I see exactly what you're saying. And I think that's why for like my wife, it was very slow moving. She thought it, but I also, but from watching it didn't feel, I've seen slower moving. So I kind of see what they were trying to do. They're trying to introduce you to people and their individuality, these people, and they're trying to do it in a short period of time. Right. So I kind of got that, but what you said there is true. It definitely took you from, I felt like this is what, I know it's a bad name, Suicide Squad. I highly enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I just thought the villain Enchantress was off-putting. Okay. But the camaraderie of them, I got it, but I'm not a fan of the Suicide Squad. I became a fan of the Thunderbolts. Like they made me, for someone like myself who is a cartoon guy. I'm not a comic book guy. I know about them. I don't dive into them. Whatever you give me in cartoon movies, cartoon fashion, that's my nod to them. So I didn't know nothing about the Thunderbolts too much. Okay. But seeing what they were still putting together, knowing the MCU, I thought it was very well put together, but I definitely get that dark side that it takes you somewhere deep in the meaning of the story, truth be told, about his other side, which is insanely, incredibly crazy in this movie. But this man is, it was like the snap was worse than the snap, right? But then you thought that, but it wasn't because they're not dead. He put them in an alternate world somewhere inside their own mind fuck. Go ahead, Freckle Thunder Sensei.
So this is why also I thought I know I told you before, Mike, that I gave it like a 7.5. I watched it again. I given it an 8 now. One aspect was, and this is a trigger warning for a lot of people, but this movie is definitely triggering when it comes to like depression, when it comes to addictions, when it comes to things of that nature. Like they tap in. Wyatt Russell plays a great part in that role of having PTSD, in that role of showing how it is to be dark and how to feel. Florence Pugh like really stole the show. It was like it was the same as the same as like Suicide Squad, where it was, you know, of course Will and Margaret had stole the show, the same as like Florence. Like nobody really like stole the show in a sense, but of course Florence did. A lot of people
I
said
love
felt
David
like,
Hooper in this film. Alexi is my favorite character from this movie.
oh yeah.
Go ahead, but I know you had a point to make.
Yeah, because he was one of the perfect dads. He was one of the perfect. It was about time. It was about time that Marvel had a good dad. Because think about it. Name a Marvel good dad since now. Besides, we got Reed Richards.
I mean, Hawkeye's not bad, right?
Yeah, Hawkeye was a great father.
I'm like, okay, well, I mean, outside of that, we had
Captain Marvel. What's her name? Her dad wasn't bad.
Oh, you talking about Miss Marvel's dad?
Miss Marvel's dad is not bad.
But
I don't be picking on dads. Marvel don't pick on dads. I just got finished watching because the Star Wars they were filming this. Okay, Darth Vader's a terrible daddy. Okay, yeah. Lexi's not a good dad. Lexi was a horrible father his entire Alexi career in this show. But I get what you're saying in that character development turn where he was trying to be there for Yelena, and that was and their chemistry and their dynamic I thought was insatiable as well in this film. Sebastian Stan's Bucky. I always make fun of when I went to go see what's the first one? Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, Black Panther was huge, and everybody's screaming, Black Panther. Like everybody screamed, if you're black, you're watching this. When you hear Wakanda Forever, when that came out, you just screamed Wakanda Forever. It was a thing. So as we did that in the movie theater, when they showed Bucky on the screen, somebody screamed out, yeah, Bucky. Right? And we all look and everybody just laughed because it's like nobody's cheering for Bucky. What's wrong with this guy? And we just that was absolutely hilarious when that happened. But to look at this film and see how great I thought Sebastian, I really thought this ensemble cast of a movie I had zero interest in seeing. But the media tells me I need to see this movie next, Doctor. It says it's important. And I know that I watch all the MCU stuff, so I'm going to watch it anyway, right? Best thing since Infinity War. It's not. I give it personally an 8.5, but I highly enjoyed it. Like when I always talk about movies, when you're watching a film, it's about your enjoyment from them. It's all of them going to be the best written film. Are they all going to follow canon? Are they all going to, like I get people like hate the Star Wars trilogy in. I don't care how bad, and I get it for those who hate, how is Palpatine alive? You know what? The entertainment they gave me in this horse shit of a storyline was still entertaining to me, right? Like even the shot, he's alive. I don't care how they kept him alive. But the fact that he's alive, that was entertaining to me. This movie had some these fight scenes. Let me just speak on that next, Doctor. Your thoughts is that on them fight scenes in this film, because from the opening fight between all of them in the backstage and the carrier, and then when Century just completely, it was worse than when Superman beat the Justice League. It was reminiscent. Like he whooped their ass. Like he whooped their ass. Next, Doctor.
Yeah, and I also agree that I wasn't going into it. I wasn't invested in the movie, but I did like the exchange between them, the way that they talked to each other. The characters felt lived in. They felt real, and I like that banter between them. And I do like. They were on the fence about, okay, you know what? Yeah, they kind of figured out, okay, we're all here because we're the loose ends. They came together. There was still that kind of air of mistrust between them, but they came together, did what they needed to do for their own sake. And then they were finally feeling like, okay, maybe we are an actual team. They tried to work together, and then they came up against an immovable object in the Century. And they just kind of like wiped out and was like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe this isn't going to actually work. I think maybe U.S. Agent Wyatt's character, I think he was probably the only one along with Alexi who still wanted to make it work. Yeah. Because I think he was trying to get that point to prove, because he used to be Captain America. He wants to have that team to show that, hey, he can do it. So I think he wanted to do it for those reasons. And I think Alexi, of course, they saw his backstory. He wants to be back in that limelight, doing the thing, being important. So I think those two characters really wanted it, but the rest, they were just kind of there because it was something to do, especially Yelena's character, Florence. You know, she wanted something to do to make her life meaningful, but then getting your butt whipped, I was like, well, that's not the meaning that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I do like, you know, the redemption arc of Alexei saying, hey, yeah, I was pretty crappy, but I'm here now.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was kind of really the theme of it is I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone. You
And
don't have to
that's
be
why
alone.
that's why
You're
I
in
love
this
this film. That's why I love this film. Right there, you said I'm not alone. Right. That to me, that was that tipping scale. Like you said, where was the heart of the film? Right. Because it had you going places, the comedy aspect. I think this Marvel to me, when they dig down, I've said this before, and this I can't really say this is one of those movies. Would you guys say that the espionage type kind of thing? Because Century kind of makes it more than that. But you know, that Captain America feel, it still had that feel to it of a Captain America kind of movie to me. I thought it was better than Brave New World, which upset my feelings. I didn't want to
see that one. That was the other thing. I went into this without having seen that one. So there were some things that I was a little like, okay, why is this going on? But I kind of know the gist of the movie, so it didn't really mess me up too much.
No, just that he's supposed to be the new Avenger, leading that class. But that's why I love and we're talking about the post-credit scenes here. But David Harbour's character, Sebastian Stan, is one of my favorite parts of this entire film. And Alexi's like, yeah, so what kind you got? He said, oh, you know, I just got the regular Hydra stuff. He said, oh, the good stuff. The good stuff. Like, he's a different, like, you're a way different soldier than me. Like, I got the generic letdown Russian steroid from the Captain America serum. Like, I just love that scene. Like, to me, Lexi to me was my favorite character in this film. And I got to say this, my second favorite character in this film, as we welcome back in Freckle Thunder Sensei, was Bob. I thought Bob's acting from Lewis Pullman, and I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to recall some other things that I had saw him in. I think it was in that shit. Excuse my language. He was in Top Gun. He was in Maverick. Yes, he was Bob in Maverick. Crazy. Wow, how did he do that? That's who he was. He was Bob in Maverick. Listen, that's crazy.
And he will also be in Doomsday.
And he was in that Strangers thing that came out a couple years ago, the remake, which I absolutely came out in 2018, Pray at Night. That was pretty good too. But I thought Bob played his character really, really well. And just everything about when Bob is Bob, I understood it. I felt it. I've myself never been in depression or feeling like that, but I've known people to suffer from depression and suffer from what he went out for. And I think that's all too common in this country of people trying to make something of themselves and will take, hey, give you some money. He said, I'm just going to take some drugs. He said, this is better than being on meth. He actually said that in the film. This is better than being on meth. I thought that was insane. Freckle Sensei, welcome back. Favorite fight scene in this movie, man?
Definitely is going to be when Rick Guardian charges at Sentry and we see Sentry's full entire power, where he's like not even trying to kill him. He had a chance to kill this man. Literally, he grabbed him in the air out of the building, and instead he grabs him back. Like,
I really thought he was.
I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead.
Yep. That was my favorite part because it was showcasing how strong he is, but he's not trying to kill them. And then he even looks at her like, well, you know, if there's a God on the Avengers, and you said I'm stronger than the Avengers.
When he's talking to Valentina, and I was going to just bring that up. He says, she goes, you know, he says, why should I listen to you? What are you? Do what I tell you to do. She's like, why? You just said I'm stronger than all the Avengers. And last time I checked, the Avengers has a God, so I'm at least part God. You know what I mean? He's like his character is his mind in a sense. Like whatever his mind dictates him to do, he will do. If he wants to be nice, he'll be nice. He wants to be. And I read that about this character going into it. Again, I think Marvel knocks it apart. Next Doctor, you got any favorite scenes in this movie?
I think I liked that initial fight scene in the incinerator.
Yeah.
You know, when they find out, you know, the way that they were all kind of showcasing their skill sets, I think that really if you didn't know as much about the characters, it lets you know, okay, this is what they can do.
Yeah.
You know, because this is supposed to be a setup for, you know, a new team, you know, dynamic, a new team movie. So showcasing what they can do, you know, right off the bat, it's like, okay, this is what you're getting into. You know, this is what they can do. And now let's see how they work together later in the film. I did like that setup. You know, I knew of the Sentry, but I didn't know as much about him. I knew that, you know, his powers were really linked to his mental state. I knew how strong he was, but I didn't really know that much about him outside of, okay, strong like Superman. He's basically the Marvel Superman, but he's also got some mental instability, so he's not always available, you know, because sometimes he just can't
There's
do it
right.
go bad. So, you know, but one of the things that I kind of didn't like is the way the void was. You know, when they were actually in there. I understand the concept they were trying to do.
Yeah,
you know,
the
show
metaphor and everything.
Depression. This is how they're going to pull them out of it. But I didn't really like the execution of it. You know, I got that they needed to do the, you know, come together, you're not alone thing. You know, let's pull you out of this, so, you know, get you back to normal. But I don't know, it didn't really feel organic, kind of felt forced the way that they executed it. And so that one kind of threw me off. You know, it wasn't the culmination that I was looking for, I guess, in this type of thing. But I get why they needed to do it because of the way that character is. But it did throw me a little bit for a loop. But I can still appreciate that this was a movie setup for a new team, you know. And going into that, I can say, okay, I like this as a stepping stone. Let's see where we go from here.
Watching, and I think I'm gonna go with you, but then I think that's why for me it wasn't as a 10 of a movie, is because first let me give a shout out to my baby girl, who literally says one of her theories in the movie was they win the movie because they hug them. And now that I saw the movie, I gotta say that she cheated and read a spoiler alert.
The power,
right? Because she said that was her thing, right? But I'm gonna let Michaela wondering if she's gonna tell me the truth or not, right? But she literally says that was her theory, and that's what you just said. That's what happened. That's what they ended up doing, because my kids were always like, "There's no way they can beat this guy. Somebody's gonna die." Right. And I'm like, never heard the character before. You know, and my kid's like, "Dad, you never heard of Sentry?" And I'm like, "No, I just never have." And I see why, honestly, because things would be over really quick in that universe if this guy had a bigger role in things. Yeah. But that the whole void thing, you're right. I didn't like I'm gonna go back to your thing about this mental illness thing a little bit, or awareness. Sorry. Yelena was trying to kill herself the whole movie. She was ready to die. Yelena was ready to just give it all up. She's done too much. She wants out of this. So she took a chance on, you know, in that part. Do you think she was looking to die, or she was looking to go to help Bob in that point in that movie? But you take you into where we had already been in the movie once, when Bob is touching him, into this alternate side of things. I didn't like it, because I'm thinking he's killing these people, right? And I'm like, this is the most destructive shit. He says it's worse than a snap, but he doesn't. So how does he maintain that? You know what I mean? Like, is it like a Wanda thing, where remember Wanda had the whole Wanda vision going with a whole town? That's a lot of moving parts, you know, that goes on. But I do think, you know, that could have been a little bit better in the spot thing. But overall, for me, again, Freckles Sensei, I give it an 8.5, man. I plan on wanting to see it again this evening as well. And I just love this movie. I think the fight scene you spoke on, Next Doctor, was phenomenal to me. And I don't think it's better than the first fight for me, because I got to see this character who's, like you said, closest to Superman I've ever seen Marvel have. This is better than I got from the Eternals. Like this, watching this guy was like, Sentry was like watching Solar Man and Superman 4. That's literally how he was dressed, like Solar Man. Okay. Except his nails didn't grow long. Okay.
Oh, God.
And he's barely moving a sweat. He's like looking at them like they're crazy for attacking him. Like, oh, like every defense he was perturbed on his face.
Like when Alexi came at him, was he Alexi or no? It was actually Bucky with the knife.
No, that was Alexi. The knife.
Yeah, and I was like, I know he's strong, but man, they are really over there.
He said he turned my shill into a taco.
What was so crazy about that was when I first saw the movie, and then he did it, I said, damn, he turned his shit into a taco. And then when they said it, he was like, I like everybody that was around me screamed because I was like, oh my God, I need to write for these motherfuckers. I need to write for
Listen, you got to know when to leave, and they got out of Dodge.
They
If he
did.
wanted to kill them, he could have stopped them then. He let them go.
no, like, but the
She
way
said, why you
Bucky,
stop him? Valentina said,
the way
he
Bucky
says,
got
why?
humbled was crazy.
I don't have to kill them. There's nothing they can. I just proved there's nothing they can do to me. You know what I'm saying? But we get towards the end of this film, and we think, Bucky. This whole thing, Bucky kind of gets them together because we have the Valentina's assistant, the snitch, if you will, in this film, Mel, played by how do you pronounce her last name? Is Gardenia? I don't want to mess it up, but beautiful actress in this movie, Mel.
This one, Nathan
calls Bucky.
One,
Bucky's is her card, and she goes to snitch.
This one, not the.
Whatever her name is.
This one, not the.
But this movie from them trying to kill Bob to find out what Bob is, I highly enjoyed this movie, guys. I can't say that enough. I really did. I thought this got me hyped for the summer and films. This got me hyped for for Fantastic Four and moving forth with that. But at the end, where they turn Valentina turns this into, they are the new Avengers.
A PR move, yeah.
A PR move to save her hide.
Yeah.
I thought was brilliant. She said, you can say she's like, I'm like, why is she running from him? She knows she can't run because she knew she had cameras on the other side, right? I've never liked Valentina ever since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Don't like her.
She's so
Like
crafty.
her.
She's so crafty.
So crafty.
She is very crafty.
So crafty. Like
you kind of see it too because when they start to like help the people around, she's like, how can I spend this? So you can kind of see, she's already getting in her machinations and going to turn this to her favor. But they did say, Yelena's character, we own you now.
You own you, yeah. She's a tad bit smarter than Amanda Waller in the DC world, right? Because she doesn't care. She's going to shoot you. She don't care about that press. Her job is to defend America, the world, at any cost, and she don't care. Press or not. Okay. Valentina knows she don't have that kind of power. Also, she has more power than Valentina, also, to be fair. She has whole arsenal to her, she ain't got to go worry about trying to insinuate people from dying. But we get to there's a mixed post-credit scene and a post-credit scene. And there's two post-credit scenes. What you guys thinking in? The first one I didn't like too much. I got it. It was funny. But my favorite character in the movie, but he got his Wheaties box.
I laughed.
It could have been it could have just been the ending. It wasn't worthy of a post credit.
I thought it should have been the end credit. If I walked out of the movies and I missed that one, I could catch that on the internet and been okay. The other one was important.
I think that I appreciated it because of the tone of the movie. Again, going with that comic-y humor. Yeah. I see why they put that in there because that's just a cap on that humor. It's like, okay. And then it whets your appetite for that after the final credit scene. And that one, as soon as I saw the shape of that ship, I was like, oh.
Yes.
And I exclaimed it out. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe the people that were in the theater that I was at weren't, because I know they played the trailer for Fantastic Four before.
Right. They didn't notice that.
And as soon as I saw the shape, I was like, oh. But then everyone else was quiet until it actually turned to the four. And I was like, I know you can't just.
That's what I didn't peep that. I didn't until you're mentioning it right now. I didn't go, oh, duh. It's the same. I get it. There you go.
I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw the shape, I was like, oh, they doing that. And then everybody else was quiet, and I was like, no one recognized. And then they was like, oh, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. When I saw before it actually said Fantastic Four, I didn't know it was their ship. I thought you were talking about because in the trailer they showed the ship. In the trailer. So I didn't put that two and two together, like, you know what I mean? But no, when they first showed
I picked the music.
Coming, I said, yeah, that's Fantastic Four. You
saw when I heard the music, plus when I heard the music and then the four showed up, I was like, oh yeah, this is Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah, I didn't catch the music, but I will say, speaking of music, I liked when they introduced the the Avengers, the new Avengers.
Yeah.
They did a variant of the Avengers theme.
They did.
Because I was like, oh, okay.
Even the outfits.
It was like slightly different. And I was like, okay, I like the way they did that. They kind of tied in with the original Avengers, but it's a new Avengers, kind of the same song, but not quite.
I heard Valentina paying a hefty penny for Tony's old building. All these things in there like that. Again, thumbs up for me. I know you didn't mention it. You mentioned it beforehand. I like the name where the Thunderbolts came from. I like it come from her soccer team when she was 5 years old, who all sucked, except for one time a girl took a poo in the middle of the field. And her team was called the Thunderbolts. They were arguing over who was the sponsor of this program. Things and that's, I'm going to say this unpopular opinion here on an unpopular review. I enjoy the Thunderbolts more than the Guardians of the Galaxy. Wow. I said it. I've never been a fan of the Guardians. I accept them, but outside the first movie, I don't need the other one. And I understand
and I respect that. I respect that, though.
Unpopular opinion. I enjoy the camaraderie, the realness, the not so antic kind of. Outside, to me, I will take Rocket Raccoon any day. He is just going back and watching those films. Rocket Raccoon is goated. The things he say, like I can't take his arm. Well, I mean, if I took it, would it mean that I stole it from him because it's been mine? Things like I love that, but like as a team and how they got along and the funny. And I just think that team, I love the Thunderbolts. If I had to pick a team put like this, I'm taking the Thunderbolts before I pick the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, that's a spicy take. That's a spicy take.
I'm taking the Thunderbolts. I said it. I said it. And it made $75 million this opening weekend. Great opening weekend from them. It was projected to only make 70, so they beat that projections. And it knocked out the #1 movie in the world. Y'all seeing to down there to the left, to my right, whatever that is. Sinners, only 33 million in its third week. Hey, that movie made its money back and then some. Okay. So if you haven't seen Sinners, we have supposed to have a review show on that one, but ECs don't always, executive consult things correctly around here. So final thoughts on the movie Freckle Sensei. I think we all gave it a thumbs up. So that's just unanimous in itself right there. And spoiler alert, thumbs up. Or if you want it for Freckle Sensei, he hates that thumbs up. He likes the light skin one.
Yes, sir.
Matches his skin.
Because I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. But anyway, definitely got me excited for Doomsday. Definitely got me excited for Fantastic Four. I'll go with my prediction on it's gonna be that type of the Avengers of the Thunderbolts and the X-Men fighting each other within the worlds. That's how that's gonna happen. But that's just my prediction. That's what we're gonna get, next year. So I'm excited. This movie, I always feel like this phase is like the transitional phase.
This is the last one in phase 5.
It's showing you and telling you everything that's about to happen and about to come into. And this movie definitely catapulted for the other movies that's about to come out.
Definitely. Next, Doctor. Final thoughts on this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I said it again. I did like U.S. Agent finally. I hated him in Falcon. So even when this movie started, I hated him. But over the movie, I was like, I really he is funny.
My final thoughts on this is I enjoyed it. Overall, it was a little up and down, but as a whole, I think that they did a good job. They put out a good movie. They put out a good foundation for what we should expect, as Freckle Thunder Sensei said, what we should expect moving forward. And I am excited as well to see that. I am excited because I wasn't really excited before to see Fantastic Four, but seeing how it could potentially tie into the main MCU, I am more excited for it. And yeah, definitely. And for me, I always liked U.S. Agent. Not so much as, he was an appealing character, but I liked him being that kind of opposite representation of the Captain America. You know,
I dig that.
I think that one could probably be a Captain America that we might get in a 2025.
You know what?
You want to have that ideal Captain Rogers, but then you got to have that real U.S. agent.
He might shoot somebody that's the president. It's by the way that man was taking. I'm just saying, yes, it's crazy. Listen, man, what you said, I think you gentlemen said it very, very well, man. Like I thought it was a very good film. It had its down spots in it. It did have some slow moving parts in it, but I thought overall it delivered well with Marvel. I think it's very important to point out in that final post-credit scene that it's 14 months later. So I don't think that scene we saw, that's not even until after what we're about to see in July.
Right.
Coming up with Fantastic Four. That's a prequel to the next post-credit scene, to be honest, not the next movie.
It is.
I think they just skipped that. That's why I thought they've never done that before with the time jump in that part of the four. And I thought I think that's something that we got to pay attention to. But overall, again, I love this cast. I love this movie. I dying to see it again. Please get on Disney Plus as soon as you can so I can watch it even more times. Unpopular opinion, it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy, at least 1 and 2. All right, I'm gonna say that much right there. Maybe not the Christmas special, because I really enjoyed that one. But other than that, I enjoyed it. Listen, guys, we got something here for everybody on this network. Make sure you come check us out. Trio of Destiny, do all our TV, movie, Marvel stuff. Check them out. You're watching a review show right now. It could be me, it could be anybody in the place to be. Federation Tuesdays, the Challenge Review Show, the Wolfpack, American Pie, and so much more on this network. Make sure you come by and check it out, and make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to us below. And so before we leave, we will leave you with a couple of trailers from us because, like I just told you, there's something for everybody. We're out of here, y'all. We love y'all. Fingers.
Jim's getting married.
Do you have the slightest idea of how important this is?
We get to have a bachelor party. It's time for me to boom boom with the bridesmaids.
You're cordially invited
I'll meet you at the closet.
to the event
This is so great.
that brings generations together.
Stifler?
Granny.
What?
Focus! Focus!
The longer a marriage lasts, the longer you can go without sex.